it seems as if Joel Embiid, I was noticing earlier in the year or earlier in the Olympics, as you probably were, that it seems like everybody is like mad at Joel Embiid all the time. It seems like there's this sort of an unusual amount of hate for Joel this summer. And then he just seemed to say a bunch of things in the New York Times interview and then on the Drew Hamlin podcast that like almost like invite people to be madder at him. And I don't care. It's fine. He can do whatever he wants. Some of the quotes from the New York Times thing, I read it initially. I was like, yeah, that's not that bad. And then I listened to it and I was like, wouldn't have done that. Do you feel this? Do you feel like it's just like every day I wake up, there's another Joel quote that I'm like, wouldn't have said that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, it's hard to bring myself to care.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that I'd be like, why?
What are we doing this for?
Why though?
Yeah.
But, I didn't think the like, obviously the cheesesteak thing is funny. That's very Joel.
He was kidding. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if he isn't, that's Joel.
Yeah.
The LeBron Durant, Steph are older. I mean, that is just true. Like,
well, it's
I don't
true.
think it's that big of a deal to be like, those guys are older and not, I think all of them would say like, maybe not Steph, but like that they used to be more athletic and faster and stuff.
So did he.
Sure. That's entirely fair. Maybe he's talking about himself.
It's like a weird thing to say.
You just don't need to.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like, I have this sometimes where it's just like, I'm just providing context and it's like, well, for what, dude? Like, who cares? Just go out there and play. It doesn't matter. But also, hey man, I'm just happy he's seemingly happy, I guess. That's all I care about. Like, he's out there. It was fun to see him, like, once Team USA started, like dapping up Steph, LeBron, Durant, like being
old
there,
guys.
like him starting and some of the playing off of those guys is very fun. Setting off ball screens for Steph, finding rolling off of LeBron stuff. Like, I mean, those are the guys, and the fact that Joel is they're like scripting plays for Joel is cool. Obviously, people not loving the Joel experience of whether it's the foul grifting or just it takes him a little bit of time to like get going, a few games here and there.
Yep.
So that I get. But I've just never been an Olympics guy. Even Olympic basketball, I've just like never cared. And and we haven't had anybody that was good enough to really play. Even Iverson, only a little bit. Like, I just don't.
Andre.
Am I allowed? Yeah, Andre a little bit, but like, am I allowed to not care? Am I allowed to?
No, you're allowed to not care.
Whatever Joel wants to do, good for it. And if people are mad at him, then that's par for the course of what it's been like the last 10 years.
Well, so two things. First, before we get to the Olympics themselves, that the other two things that you missed from the New York Times interview is that he could have been the greatest of all time if he didn't get injured. And then
let's say true. I'm with him. Let's go for it. I'll ride with our guy. Go for it.
And then the only one that I was like, oh, why did you do this again? Is when he was like, there's two ways to say that you can't win it yourself. There's the inclusive way and there's the not me way. And for some reason, when he says, I can't just win it myself, it never comes across as, hey, I need everyone.
So agree.
Okay.
I so agree with that.
Because we were going to play it on the air on the WIP show, and I knew the quote because I read it, and I was like, I'll defend him on this. I told Jack. Like, we always go over, like, sort of like what we think before we go on there. And I go, I'll defend him on this. And then I heard him say it, and on the air I was like, nah, I can't defend him on this one.
Yeah.
It never comes across that way.
Right. He knows the right thing to say, and he's trying to say the right thing, but he just can't help but say it in a way that makes him go like, I fucking can't do it all myself, okay?
Yeah.
All right? You fucking know. You guys see it. You see who I've played with. And
Right.
you just don't really need to do it. You just don't.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. But that's also like, he is ultimately himself, and I'd rather him be the version of himself that is the most, like, I don't know, real than just like a scripted sort of dry, when he was just very sad a few years ago, which he talked about in that interview.
Yep.
That was a bummer. And it seems like he's just himself, and that comes with him being real in ways that people get pissed off about.
And by the way,
he's our guy.
As long as he doesn't fucking care, like people care for a minute, and then ultimately it's just like if they're good, people won't care. If they're bad, they'll bring all this shit up. Oh, Mr. Greatest of all time. So
yeah, and it's not like we need LeBron or Steph or Durant to like come here anymore. We already got Paul George. So like recruiting over, you're done.
Yeah, get out of here, you old guys.
Just end up safe. Like just be healthy. Just that's all.
As for the Olympics, I sort of agree, sort of disagree. I'm always sort of interested in it. I think that people, the games are closer now, and everybody's, of course, like the problems that Joel Embiid is starting in that Bam Adebayo, but it is, I think you do have to realize that the rest of the world is infinitely better than they used to be, at basketball.
Oh,
when you look at, how about this, the last 5 MVPs aren't even from the United States.
Yeah.
It's Jokic and Giannis and Embiid, and then when you look at the top 5 or 6 players in basketball, and then you look at these teams now.
Luka, SGA, yeah.
Yeah. Now South Sudan did, of course, have Mariel Shayok, but all of these teams have been playing basketball a lot longer than they used to. I think the thing that makes it less fun for me to watch is they don't play enough together for it to look all that cohesive. There are moments of it that look good. I just always feel like the other teams, whether they're better or not better, they always look like more like teams than our team does.
Yeah.
A couple of other quotes from Joel, who kept talking. Now
I will say, if there was a way to do it in this kind of way, and there's not, but I don't know if you watch, the WNBA All-Star Game was incredibly good because it was the 12 women that made the Team USA team against the All-Stars that didn't make Team USA. And so those people were kind of pissed off to not make Team USA. And Team USA was like, well, we are actually a team and we have to play seriously. And Team USA lost.
Yep.
In a really, it was never like exhibition-y. It was always like, felt like a really good basketball game. And if there was a way to do that, I don't know how, but like of the All-Star game or some exhibition where it's like, here's the Team USA men and here's the backup guys, like whether it's Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown and Kyrie or whatever, like that kind of thing, that would be there being stakes and personal beef to it. And Enrique Gumuale like went off and she was bitter that like vocally that she didn't get on the team. And I don't know. That was fun. It was fun to watch, and it'd be fun dramatically for that to be the case. A couple of other things he said. He was on the Czech Ball Show with the Drew Hamlin has a podcast now. So I didn't. Has he not had he's given off the appearance of someone that has had a podcast for the last 8 years.
I don't think he has. He just looks like Tommy Alter.
He seems like he would.
Yeah. Well,
maybe he does look like Tommy. Maybe that's it.
But he has a skill.
Yes.
Drew Hamlin does.
Yes. I am blocked by him, and that's totally fair. And it's
right.
Well,
he did the false time.
He was right too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I didn't pull the audio of this. He said he could average 50 points a game if they couldn't double team him. I actually think that's true, probably. So here is the next one. This was one that caught fire, him talking about Jason Tatum and the Celtics.
He gives me trouble about Jason. He's got a super team. You know what I mean? Like, if I had a super team too, I would win too. You know.
I tell him the same thing. Like,
well, you got a super team now, coach.
If I go 5 for 20, like, we get blown out.
You guys don't know how much shit that I get when Jason could start out 0 for 2 and the team's up by 6, and he'll be like 0 for 2 up 6 must be nice. Like,
So that is so to me. I'm watching that. I read the quote and then I watch it. I watch it. It's pretty charming. They're just hanging out. Yeah. But also I watch it and I'm like, this is why current players shouldn't do podcasts because they're. Which I have a podcast P hat on, by the way. I bought a podcast P hat. It was $40, but yeah. But it just seems like
$40 is too much for a hat. Let's be
real. You kidding? Most of the hats I wear are like $53.
That's
fitteds are now.
That's too much.
Oh, well, inflation.
Sure.
But when you see the quote in print, you're like, ugh.
Sure.
Yeah.
But he's just chilling. Also, like, if I'm Drew Hamlin, I'm not doing impressions. I'm not doing
it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, but I'm just not doing it. It's
Why
like
not?
that. You shouldn't have if you should be like, I was scared of your French impression a few months ago. It was better than I thought it would be, but I was like, I'm just not doing it. There's no reason, not worth it. But he's right. And I think it's funny that Joel is watching basketball and texting 0 for 2 up 6. Must be nice. I mean, I would send that text, but like, you don't need to say it. That's why it's, the best podcasts are like, I don't know. The Jeff Teague stuff is always very funny to me because it's just him talking about what it used to be like, and he can be very honest about it. And that's why the fact that we've had so many guys with podcasts or on podcasts, Maxey, now PG, Pat Bev, Embiid's been on. It's just like JJ. It's like, stop. Just don't. It's just not worth it. You guys are making so much money right now. You don't have to already be planning Danny Green. You don't have to already be planning the media career afterwards. Like just like chill. Just talk to your friends off mic. Leave it to the professionals.
Like us.
That's right.